Hi out there. We are getting warmed up. Waiting on. Making sure we're clear and good to go. Come on. Come on. Trying to get, I like checking my stream, make sure it, I used to have trouble, I would trouble every now and then with a squeaky audio, and I'm trying to make sure this works. There it is, there's a live. Come on. Trying to make sure this. Here we go. Okay. We're good. All right. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Resales. My name is Ryan. I get stuff from yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and various other places and try to make a few extra bucks online. Apparently, I got a few dozen of you came over from another channel. Small town bookseller. John, thank you. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for sending some folks over. If you don't know who John is, for my dozens of folks, I put a link down in the description to his channel, and John's a good guy, and he sells lots of books and does a good job of it, and you should check him out if you're particularly into book selling, because John knows what he's doing, and he's about to retire, and he's gonna need like more subscribers because he's gonna need more money. Maybe go ask John. He's a good guy. Anyway, what we do here, what I do a lot of is books. Particular expertise, I guess, is religious books. I'm the kid who paid attention in Sunday school. And I go to a kind of theology-heavy church. And so that's kind of what I know. Also, science fiction, fantasy, older books. Don't do a lot of antique books, mostly because they're expensive, and I'll get them when I can get them for inexpensively. But older books, some educational books, mostly as the ones that relate to homeschooling, and a handful of other stuff. I do toys as well when I can get them. Vintage toys. A lot of people know that space right now. They know what that is. G.I. Joe's, Transformers, that sort of stuff. So people know that world a lot more. So that's like actually a heavier competitive market. So it's actually harder to get some of that stuff. And I get a smattering of other stuff when I can get to it. So that's what I do. And I live stream mornings that I have 3 or 4 or more sales, which every three mornings. If I got one dinky sale, I'm not going to stream it. But I live stream most mornings and post the video later in the day, later in the week. And so I'm a little lazy, I guess, because what I do is I just use may as well live stream what I got and let it stay up and then bump it over. So, that's what I do. So, thank you for all you, handful of you new folks coming in to view the channel. I answer questions when I can. I'm actually probably later this week. I had a real good question regarding how you sell books, how you find them, how you sell them. And I'll probably dive into that later this week. So be watching for that. I'll address that because that's a good question. Probably should answer it every now and then. So that's what's going on. So let's get into sales. I don't have a whole lot. I was out and busy all weekend, so I wasn't able to pick up anything. So I don't have anything to really show you except maybe a shirt. So other than that, we're going to jump into what sold, so I can kind of get this out the door and get moving. So for what it's worth, this is not my main job. Reselling books, I net out $300 to $500 a month, give or take. This is part time. This is extra funds. This is extra money. Like a whole lot of eBay folks, could I make a living doing it? Maybe. I would have to have a whole lot more storage and a whole lot more time to do it, though. I kind of use the time I'm given to do this, and so I think I'm kind of at the point where I would have to like rent space or make way more space. I just can't to grow this, and so I'm really settled where I'm at. So that's pretty good. Anyway, let's jump into it for the third time. Okay. First up, next text, historical readers. These are 3 hardcovers. Great Depression, World War II, and Japanese-American internment. Locally, I have a Last Chance Goodwill, and I saw these it's right next to a regular Goodwill. And I saw these on the shelf at the regular Goodwill, and I didn't see. There were a couple there that were solds, but a whole lot. There just wasn't a lot of information on this particular series. So I said, if they get next door to the Last Chance for a quarter a piece, I'll grab them. They did. I got them, but they only went. These 3 only went for $9. So not going to grab this series again. Actually, one of the things I tend to be decent at, I find, is selling series and being able to bundle books, and I've figured some of that out. I try it with these. Come out with making money. I'll make a couple bucks here, but will I do it again? Not really. But glad to see them out. They've been sitting a while, and that's always good to see something like that move out. Next up, okay, couple of. What grabs first? This one, Arthur Machen, Tales of Horror and the Supernatural, Volume 2. Paperback, okay shape. It went for $12.99 for this. Horror paperbacks are always worth looking up. It's a 50-50 shot. The older, the better. But I have a handful I grabbed of like 1980s horror novels, and if it's got like a fun embossed cover, look it up. Don't always assume that it's worth something, because a lot of them aren't, but a lot of them are. So you gotta be pretty discerning. There's a couple that I will grab sometimes without looking them up. Excuse me. And like the Zebra horror paperbacks from the 80s that they don't sell for a lot, but they do sell. But I grabbed this one. I saw it was an old horror book. Let's grab it. And where I grabbed it from, I think it was either a book sale or, I paid 50 cents to $1 for this. So I figured it was probably worth it. And it was over time. So $12.99 for that. Next up is religious book. This is The Apocrypha by Edgar Johnson Goodspeed. This is a 1959 paperback. The Apocrypha in American translation. Religion sells. The stuff about the Apocrypha. This is the books that are between the Old and New Testament that aren't necessarily held as this is Jewish Apocrypha. that aren't necessarily held as canon official by Protestant religions. I think the Roman Catholic Church does hold these as canon, but most Protestant religions don't, for various reasons. But there are some books about the Apocrypha that sell and some don't. I always look them up. I always grab them and I always look them up. But they're worth looking up because some of them do and some of them don't. And you can't just grab them. You gotta check the specific edition and all that goes with. But that one went for $12.99. I have been sitting on it for a little bit, so fair warning there. Next up is another series I like to grab, particularly if I can get them cheap enough. Dragonlance. This is Dragons of Autumn Twilight by Weiss and Hickman, who wrote a ton of the Dragonlance novels from the 80s. This one went for $14. Dragonlance books, if you can get them for, my rule is about 50 cents a piece or less. I'm starting to edge toward, I'll pay $1 for the ones that were printed in the 80s. Then that's what this is. There is a later edition of this that's like a $2 or $3 book. This one, the ones that are coming out from the 80s, are looking like they are getting worth a little bit more. Those seem to be coming up in price a little bit. So you gotta check and make sure it's one of the old versions. This one's beat up. If this was in like really nice shape, this is a $20+ book. But this one has some wear to it. But it is the 1980s Dragonlance book. So Dragonlance, I have found, are usually worth lotting up if you can get them for my like I said, line there is about 50 cents a piece or less. And there are some that had a limited print run. Dragonlance and any of the D&D books. Some of them, if they had a limited print run, you need to look out, because there are some that go way high. And there's some that are like, but there, I have actually come across a few that, because the print run was so limited, the value's a lot more because they're harder to find. So, next up, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Didn't know they wrote a book for it. Did you? $14.99 for this paperback. So I snagged it, I think a couple, back in February. I think it was February, March. There was a big dump of fantasy and science fiction at my local Goodwill. And adult paperbacks are $1. And I loaded it up. I mean, there was times I just didn't even bother looking stuff up. I just loaded up on them because I knew minimum I could load them up. There was another big dump last couple weeks, and I'm kind of interested to see how some of those do. So sci-fi you do have to look up though. You got to be careful with. It's one of those genres that I wish they were. I feel that they should be worth more. Particularly the old science fiction that has like the really bizarre drug-induced covers on them, but they don't sell as well as I think they should. Unless I did come across, I got a bunch of Heinlein and Asimov from that era, from the 60s, 70s, tend to do pretty decently. A couple other authors are worth looking up as well, but it's one of those you need to look them up and create a knowledge base. You can't just grab them. You need to study them and look them up. Unless you can get them for about 25, 50 cents a piece, then sometimes you can lot them up and do okay there. All right, finally, and what John was talking about that sent y'all over here a little bit, Bibles. I sold 2 Bibles, one for $35, one for $44. This is actually a box of books that was given to me by a friend at church. Said just sell it, keep the money, which is always nice. So, and we'll go into that. The first one, this is HCSB Large Print Compact Bible, brown tan leather church, leather church, leather touch is like the name of this, the cover that they have. It's large print, but it's a compact Bible, which makes it normal size print, like this Bible. Okay. Selling Bibles is about finding a Bible that has something particular with it. I hate to say your base model, your basic Bible, paperback, King James, NIV, NASB, New American Standard, New International Version, King James Version. Those Bibles don't do real well selling on eBay. What you want is something particular about your Bible that makes it worthwhile to sell, I guess is the best way to put it. That people are looking for in a personal Bible, or a study Bible or something like that. And so, nice covers, Bibles with nice covers. Always make sure that this dedication page, this first page in the Bible, is clean and is not written in. Sometimes you can sell it if it's a high-end Bible. Sometimes it pulls the value down, but you can still sometimes sell it. And no writing or highlighting. You want a clean Bible with no writing. Because those tend to not sell well. Now, other things that make a Bible sell. One, this is compact. That's a good verb. Compact leather mount. Or faux leather or something like that. That's a good thing. Red letters, Words of Christ in red. Now, Words of Christ in red by themselves don't necessarily make a Bible saleable, but and most Bibles have it, but not all. But if I had a Bible like this and a similar Bible that didn't have the Words of Christ in red, this would sell first. Because that's what people want. And it's not necessarily a reason to leave a Bible on the shelf, but that Bible better have some other good stuff associated with it. Other things that help a Bible sell. The little tabs that help you find the books of the Bible on the side, the little indentations. That's useful. What else could go? Study Bibles do decently. Clean study Bibles. Bibles with large print Bibles. I don't think I've ever failed to sell a large print Bible. I will almost buy a paperback large print Bible. And I think those will go okay. Cross-reference Bibles, that usually means that in the middle of the column or at the bottom, the verse will refer to something that you can look, that refers to this verse earlier in the Old Testament, something like that. Single column notation Bibles. I think a lot of people like single column Bibles. And there's various other stuff, but like I say, if there's something that makes a Bible particular, there's like buying a car, you got options that does it. You can sell that Bible as long as it's clean, and a clean, good condition Bibles are worth looking up anyway. I have sold some that just didn't have a whole lot of those extras, but they were clean, good condition Bibles, and I can still sell them between $10 and $15. So there you go. So this little one, HCSB, which is it's a Holman Christian Standard Bible. This is almost like a kind of a modern one, I think, that the Southern Baptist kind of produced. So there's that one. The other one, $44 for this one. This is a New King James Holman genuine leather Bible. Genuine leather. A lot of Bibles, if you look on the back, the material is right here. What it is. Bonded leather, genuine leather. Again, clean. No writing in it. Words of Christ in red. Middle column. See the reference stuff in the middle. So $44. Real leather does fairly well. And I'm actually, and that's all my sales. And I'm actually going to do, and I'm actually decided, I think I'm going to try something. I snagged, but I thought I made a mistake. And I may have, but I'm going to try something. I got this Bible. This is a King James Reference Edition Bible. You can sell King James Bibles. It's a, even though it's a public domain in the United States. I need some coffee. You can still sell King James Bibles. Large, if there's something particular about it. I grabbed this and I go, oh, this isn't marked in. Oh, wait. Learned a lesson this time, even about this. If you're going to check the highlighting in the Bible, check Genesis. The first book. Don't just flip through. Check Genesis. And see if it's so, like, there's like the first couple chapters of Genesis have highlighting on them in this Bible. It's a nice Bible. I'm kind of a little irritated. But it's such a nice cover by a good publisher, Hendrickson. It's large print. This is zero imitation or bonded leather, and I'm not sure which one. But this may be bonded leather. But it's a large print in such good shape. I'm gonna try and find it and look it up and see. This is bonded leather. Look here. I am going to look it up and, maybe put it about half price of what it's going for. And see if I can sell this, even though there's highlighting. So it's like somebody used it for a little bit and then, I don't know, maybe they got it in January, got to Genesis 4 or something and gave up trying to highlight stuff. So, you never know. Genesis 4, Genesis 13. Yeah, somewhere around Genesis 13 they gave up. So, oh yeah. You guys just start getting into genealogies a little bit there and things slow down. So, anyway. That's Bibles. And that's the sales I had. And hello to the viewers out there. Got 3 going on right now as I'm saying this. I will probably publish this later in the week when I get around to it. I'll probably one late last week. I'm going to try to get up tomorrow, and I'm going to try and talk about how to sell books later this week as well. So y'all stay tuned. I live stream a lot of mornings for 15-30 minutes, if that. This one went for about 23, and this one's a little long. So that's how that went. So y'all have a good day. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Go see John at Small Town Booksellers. And y'all have a good day.